Are you worried about choosing the wrong neighborhood in Austin? I get it, with so many good options, it can be a bit overwhelming. But today I'm gonna make your decision a little bit easier. I'm gonna take you all around Hyde Park, that's where we are right now, a central Austin neighborhood, and that way you can decide if it has the right lifestyle for you. Think front porches, hip meets historical. And hey, stick around to the end. I have a tiny little store that has over 8,160 offers of booze, cigarettes, and cigars. Who knew? Hi, I'm Nicole. Now, by watching this video, you're going to know if Hyde Park is a match for your lifestyle and investment goals. So let's get started on the pros and cons. The pros. What's great about Hyde Park? Well, first of all, it has historical designation and tons of charm. I mean, look at all these beautiful little front porches. They're craftsman style houses for the most part. You will see some Victorian style homes as we drive through the neighborhood today, but it really creates that sense of community, that front porch feel where everybody sits out, says hello to their neighbors. It has a really good vibe in that sense. Everybody kind of sticks together when there's some neighborhood action or some politics and things like that. So that is probably the coolest part about Hyde Park. The second pro is its location. It's just north of the University of Texas campus and in the center of Austin between I-35 and Mopac. That means you can get to the highways easily. That means you get to the grocery stores easily. Work is accessible, and hey, you're going to have professors, some grad students, even some students all sprinkled throughout this part of town because it's that close to the university. Not to mention there's hospitals around, so your demographics are just across the board with all types of professions because you can get to most any locale easily, whether it's tech, hospital, arts, music, whatever the case may be. And speaking of arts and music, Hyde Park is a natural draw because it's so kind of eclectic that a lot of artists really do enjoy living here. And you can have all these little different color of cute houses that are just expected from the yellows and greens. Of course, we have some more of the traditional white. You're gonna find a lot more color in Hyde Park than you would, say, in a new suburb, maybe Round Rock or something like that, where you have all the same construction homes, just different floor plans next to each other. Another pro for this location is because it's so central, you actually can use public transportation here. You can use the scooters, those pay and ride scooters. You can bike places. The buses come straight through the middle of this neighborhood. They go down to campus, they go up north to the Domain. So you can actually not have a car quite as much as in the rest of the city. And that's a huge bonus. You can even walk to some restaurants, walk to some coffee shops, walk to a bookstore. I'm going to show you that bookstore today. It's so cute. It took place of where the old post office used to be. So now there's no post office, so you got to go somewhere else to get your stamps, but you can get an amazing coffee and shop for a new book while you're drinking it. The third pro about living in Hyde Park is the kind of little restaurant corner. It's right over here, and I'm gonna take you over there just in a minute. But it's got a bakery, Mexican, cheese, Hyde Park Grill, you name it, you can find it on one corner. Now the next pro for Hyde Park is there are literally Instagram-worthy streets. I'm in the dead of winter and you can still see these beautiful trees that grow over the street. It's like this all throughout, all the avenue A, B, C, D, E. That's how Hyde Park is named. They're all avenues of the alphabet. But it's just gorgeous tree-lined street all throughout, and it's just actually Instagram worthy. It's pretty hip. Now I wanted to bring you you back in the office just for a moment to show you where Hyde Park is on the map. So if we look here, this red boundary on the map is Hyde Park. You can see how it's so centrally located between the north and south main highways in town. And here's the University of Texas just to the south of it there. So as we pop around in Hyde Park today in the car, I'm just going to show you a few of the neighborhood parks and the things like that, just so you can get an idea of what is there. Shipe is the main park for the Hyde Park neighborhood. It has the playground, it has a swimming pool, and it's got a couple of tennis courts as well. This right here is the little corner where I take you to show you all the restaurants. We have the Curra's Mexican. I just want to show you the inside so you can get a taste of the flair of all of their colors. And then Quack's Bakery, will show you that, and they have such good pastries and pies. And look at that chocolate cake. If you're into chocolate cake, you might head over there. But there's a view of all their pies. And then lastly, before we leave this little area, I have to show you Antonelli's, because you just can't get cheese like this anywhere. You have to come to Antonelli's. So that's the front of the store, and then here is the inside with their little cheese counters and things. Here's little trays they make you. By the way, you can taste everything before you buy it. They do have wine in there, so you can pick up, if you're just picking up for a picnic or a date night, you can pick it all up there. They have the meats, the cheeses, the breads, and everything, and it is some of the best imported cheeses around, and local cheeses too, but it's straight from the farmer, so it's delish. Now overall, Hyde Park it's just a quiet little neighborhood right in the middle of all the hustle and bustle. It's easy to get to everything. And get this, Hyde Park was Austin's first subdivision. I mean, right now it's in the middle of everything, but if you think back to the 1800s, the first settlers were on the water, on the river, Colorado River, because that's where you had to be if you're going to settle to get your water. And so in order to go up to Hyde Park, I mean, you're on a horse and buggy or carriage. So it was a long way. It was actually a suburb, and today it's known as the heart of Austin. So that's a pretty cool little tidbit to know, the first Austin suburb. That's right, we're in the heart of Hyde Park. We are at the corner, in fact, where all the restaurants come together. We have a bakery in Quack's. We have Curra's Mexican Grill across the street. We have Julio's Cafe right here. Just over here, we have Italian food, and of course, a little bitty grocery store that you can come and gather all your groceries from, called Fresh Plus, without going to the huge supermarket. We have Quack's Bakery right here. They make some of the best pies and cupcakes around, and don't forget, like brioche and croissants, good coffees. It's a great place to hang out for a little sweet snack. One of the longtime anchor restaurants for Hyde Park is Hyde Park Grill. They have the largest fork in the world. I don't know, you better fact check that. I'm not totally sure, but it's always been a landmark for Hyde Park. Then right next door to the Hyde Park Grill is one of my favorite spots in all of Austin for cheese. It's called Antonelli's, and they import some of the finest cheese from around the world. You can get super happy in Antonelli's shop. They sell the bread and the crackers to go along with it. They also have classes at their little casa across the house over there to teach you about all the good things about cheese. Now, while we're here on this beautiful street, let's talk about our first con. As you can see back here, there are cars parked all along the street. And the reason for that is, in these older homes, they didn't often have garages. So there isn't anywhere to park your car. And so like this one here, it has one spot, but no garage. So if you have 2 or 3 cars in the family, the other 2 cars or 1 car is gonna park on the street. All your visitors always on the street. And this one here, it doesn't even have a garage. Well, it has one in the back, but not a park-in garage. So that's a con about living in this part of town. There's a lot of cars that are always gonna be on the street, and you're never gonna have them all tucked away like in a neighborhood with a strict HOA where you have to pull inside your inside your garage, because there just aren't any garages. Now, since we're talking about the homes, let's go ahead and talk about the homes. And that leads me to the cons 2 and 3. So the second con is that homes are expensive. They're expensive because everybody wants to live here. We're in the ultimate location in central Austin. We've got a beautiful tree-lined street. There's not commercial everywhere, so it's very homey, very neighborhoody, feels like a community, so home prices are high. You're gonna start at a tiny little bungalow that needs a lot of work at $500,000, and then if you have something newer and bigger, you're talking multi-millions. While we're on property types, I want to give you a few examples. Here's that smaller home at $535,000. We've got 1,200 square feet, 2 beds, 2 baths, and it's a little bit older, built in 1950. Here is the kitchen, so you can get an idea of why I say about $500,000 is your entry price into Hyde Park. Our next example is $749,000, just around 1,600 square feet, and this one's newer. In fact, it's brand new construction. But what this is an example of an AB unit, and the AB units are becoming very popular. The developers can put 2 units on one piece of property and make more money that way. So currently the A unit is usually the larger unit, and then a B unit will be 1,100 square feet or less. You know, we've had some recent property zoning rule changes, so we may be able to put more homes on the property in the future, but currently these AB units are quite popular. And you can see, if you're able to share the outdoor space and have a little bit less privacy, you can get a bigger home at 1,600 square feet for $750,000. Now, if you need a home with all the lot and you want the single family, no connected yards, walls, anything like that, then you're going to be closer into the $2 million number. So this one here is listed for $1,925,000. It is new construction. It's 3,188 square feet. You can see here the new construction, and it's just going to be built with all the beautiful current modern trends. And this one even has a swimming pool. You can see they've used most of their yard for the pool. Kind of got that modern boxy look to it, but it's nice and beautiful on trend on the inside. So these are the types of properties that you can expect to find in Hyde Park. Now, the other hard part about finding a home in Hyde Park is that, you know, if you do find one of the older homes, well, they're going to need a little bit more maintenance than your newer home builds because, you know, hey, the wiring might be aluminum, the roof might be old. The foundation is most likely pier and beam, and that's going to need to be adjusted over time. So an older home generally comes with more problems. And if you want to redo any of the facade on the outside, well, you have to obey all the historical preservation rules. So more historical homes in the area give it more charm, more appeal, less new construction. However, when there is new construction in the historical district, they have to follow the rules for the Hyde Park neighborhood. So it does keep it somewhat homogeneous, even when you have the new construction homes, which you don't find very often because they're going to have to take place of a tear down. So older homes, expensive homes, not many new homes, and street parking. So here's a perfect example of historical renovation. They have to do it by the book. Now, our last con for the Hyde Park neighborhood is you have to be a little bit careful of the flood zone. Waller Creek runs right through the middle of it, so there are quite a few properties that do lie in the floodplain. So it's just a bit of due diligence on the front end. You don't want to be in the floodplain, and the floodplain has only been growing in the recent years because as we build more concrete, the rain has less places to wash off and flow downstream. So you really want to check that on the front end if you're thinking about buying in Hyde Park, and make sure you are outside of that flood zone. You stuck around to the end. Thank you so much. This little tiny corner store at Duval and 45th is also known as the Flag Store because they have international flags. But the most important fact about this store is they have more than 8,160 choices of booze, cigarettes, and cigars. It's crazy to have that many choices in such a small store, but you'll find it here in Hyde Park. So that's a wrap. This neighborhood might be right for you if you're looking for that hip and historical kind of conglomeration all in one, that community feel, front porch living. Great proximity to town, public transportation. You've got the local dining spots in there, the true Austin places. There are no chain restaurants in Hyde Park. And you have Instagram-worthy streets. They are so pretty. And remember, today we're filming in the dead of February, so imagine how beautiful those streets are in the spring and summer months. And what's not so cool? Yeah, it's expensive. There are a lot of rules if you're building a historical home. There is a lot of rules if you're building a new home. There aren't many new homes. And you do need to be careful of that flood zone that's going through there. But otherwise, what do you think about Hyde Park? I, for one, love this neighborhood. I think it's a cool spot to live. If you can afford to live there, it's awesome to be able to walk to all the things and be in the middle of the city and still be kind of quiet. So comment below, what do you think? Do you have other questions? And hey, if you want to go see something in person, I'm always here. My team and I can take care of you. We're always ready to help you find the perfect home that matches your lifestyle. Until next time, be kind to yourself and others. Can't wait to see you around town.